What's up, guys? It's Malik, the JavaScript wizard, and today we're going to be going over objects. So, objects are very important in JavaScript because it allows you to containerize information into a single entity. And let's break that down. So, right now we have person, and within person is going to be equal to this object, which is going to be containerized in the curly braces. And we see it has a name, and the name is going to be the property, and the key is going to be Malik. Has a name, it has an age, it has a Boolean value, which is cool, and it also has um, a function on it, which is called a method. You know, a function that's on an object is going to be a method, and each name is going to be separated from its key with a colon, and then it's also in each property itself is going to be separated with a comma. So if you just take off the comma, you're going to see it's going to be error. So each one has to be separated with that. And that's very convenient because, if you're working with a lot of different stuff, especially if you're making like a social media site and you have a lot of different people coming in and signing up, then you might have to create objects for them. It's a very easy way to containerize information into one, into one variable. So when we just console.log person, we have all of this information inside of just this one variable, which is pretty convenient. Oops. Which is pretty convenient. So now we see. And also, we are able to get particular information from inside that by using dot notation. So you can dot into the object and we can get the name, person.name. So what does that output? The output's Malik. We can do person.age. And as we know, that's going to output 26. So it's a very convenient way to work with stuff. And you can also dynamically set new information onto the object. So we can just say person.hobby equals wrestling. And then when we check it out, you can see. So right now we're just gonna use the dot notation to just dynamically set a hobby as the property and wrestling as the key value. So it's a very convenient way of adding new properties, and there we go. Now we got wrestling. So why is this important? Again, it's very important to containerize information to make everything relative to one thing. So, if you have a person, if you have a car, you can have a car, which could be an object, and its properties can be its wheels, how much, what type of gas it has, it could have a million different properties. So, I mean, basically what objects does, it just represent information that's in the real world. So everything, if anything you look around can be an object, and you can code it as an object. So you can look at a pencil and be like, okay, this pencil color is blue. you know so it's very convenient to represent real world objects in code. That's why they call it objects. So it's pretty convenient, and you can dynamically create a certain type of object. So what does that mean? Let's go over it. Let me just comment this out. So let's say again, you have the social media site and you have a lot of people coming in, and when they come in, they have to fill out certain stuff, and you automatically want to create an object for them. So we can create a constructor function. And what a constructor function does is it basically gives you a prototype of what you want the object to contain. So we got an email, we got a name, age, and then here we got to do this name. Oops, it's spelling everything. So name equals name. This age equals age, and I'm gonna explain what this means. That can be confusing, but it's very important. It's the email. And again, here you can also write a function. This dot greeting equals function Okay, so right here before us we have a constructor function. So basically, this can dynamically create new objects on the fly. And what do I mean by that? Let's see. So let's create a new object, Malik, and we create a new object using the new keyword followed by person because that's what it is, and then name. So the name is going to be Malik, and then we're going to go age. Age is going to be 26. And email, Malik@mail.com. Yeah. So not right now. After this, we just dynamically created a new person, and we can do Malik like this because right here is the parameter. This is the parameter right here. So Malik is gonna follow here. Age, email. So you can easily, just by following the order right here, you can just easily create a brand new person, and you can console.log them and see if they actually exist. So let's clear this out. And now we have a brand new person. Easily just create out of thin air. Easy. And, let me create another one. Let's just create Brenda, new person. Brenda. Age, 24. Email, Brenda@mail. And bam. Now we have two new objects created on the fly. We have Malik, and then we have Brenda. And the reason why we use this keyword again is this is basically particularly setting the information for that particular object. I know it sounds kind of deep, but it's really pretty simple. So you see right here, Malik is being set to this new person. So this is going to be the name, which is going to be, this is Malik. This age is 26. This email. So that's why here we can see that, the information is separate. It has its own object. So that's why this keyword is very important, especially when, setting the constructor. You don't necessarily use this too much for other stuff besides objects. I mean, you do. I mean, there are other there are other reasons why you might use the this keyword, but for the most part in JavaScript, the this keyword is going to be used for objects, because when you're setting objects, you want to make the objects unique. So the this keyword is what's used to set the unique value for for that object. Okay, and so now we have that, and we can also set some new properties onto, let's do Brenda. And so we got Brenda, that name. Oops, I didn't mean to write the const. You say Brenda dots, what, hobbies, let's say, I don't know, ballet. So now when we console.log Brenda, we see that just dynamically on the fly, she was given a new hobby. So even though we have a constructor right here, you can still just dynamically create new information for that object. You can just dynamically do it. You don't have to have everything in here, prior to, creating the object or creating a new property. So, that's a very good thing about JavaScript. It's just very flexible, and you can also delete a property by using the delete keyword. So you can say delete Brenda dot hobbies. Oops, spelled delete wrong. Delete. And so what the delete does is it actually just removes the whole property. I really don't see this too much, but there's some cases where you have to remove the property, in general. So this is going to remove the property and the value. So let's clear the console so it's not so messy, and now let's run it. And so we see we have Brenda right here, hobbies, and then once it gets to line 30, it deletes hobbies. So, and then we console log Brenda and we see that it has been removed. So, in a nutshell, I mean, there are a lot of different ways to, use and create objects. You do have the prototype way, which to me, it's kind of unnecessary. And then you also have classes, and classes can be very convenient. Classes is very popular in another programming language, Java, but they also have it here in JavaScript, and that's also what we call syntactic sugar over creating an object. So, but I would say this is probably the most convenient way to create objects. Also, again, if let me just comment this out, and you can even dynamically using the let keyword. Oops, oops. And you can you can create an empty object just using curly braces, and then you can set information dynamically on it. So let's just call this car. So the car is an empty object, and then you got car dot brand. Let's just say it's Ferrari. So I'm just basically showing you guys how flexible object manipulation is in JavaScript. You can just do it on the fly dynamically. Car that brand, Ferrari, car that's, I don't know, year. Let's say 2024. And let's say car dot value. Let's give it a number. It's just a lot of zeros, whatever. And we can see. So we see when we first put car in our code, it's empty, and then you can just dynamically, set the values. So that's pretty cool. So in a nutshell, this is pretty much how objects work. You also have the for loop, the for in loop, which is used for you can loop over all of the values. So that's something quickly I can just show you guys. So so we got the car, and let's use a for in loop to loop over all of the objects inside of the car. So you're gonna do for, you're gonna do, and you do use let key because this is gonna be the key, and this is looping over car. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna console.log and then we're gonna use a template literal. I'm getting used to this new keyboard I just got. Template literal, and the key is gonna be this and that. And let's add key. So now we can loop over all of the items. So now we have the brand, Ferrari, key. Let me clear this out so you can actually see it. So we're using a for in loop, and a for in loop is specifically made for objects. If you want to loop over the object and see everything, and you can even loop over the object and manipulate the data if you want, but this is how we do it. We start with the for, and then I use the let keyword, key in car. So the key is going to be the key. Oops, I'm messing up. So, and then we're just going to console log it. The key, the brand, and then we have the car, and then we use an array to pretty much get the value of that. And you know, it looks a little bit complicated, even though it's not. It's not too complicated. I guess because this is inside of what do you call it? This is inside of square brackets that can kind of confuse you, but this is technically getting an array value. But and this is the way it works. So with the for in loop, you can loop over everything inside of an object, and you can get information. You can also manipulate it. And in a nutshell, this is pretty much how objects in JavaScript work. And I hope you guys enjoyed my tutorial. Please subscribe.